They said Gray paved the way, changed the rain, released the pain, least you sane, getting paid, trend setting, brighter days, doper raps, tight as sets, high and deadly, I'm a fighter jet, journey.
What's up, everyone? Another edition of the Major League Pod. I'm Rob Kammer, host of the MLW Confusion podcast. And with me, as always, the Tio Loco of technical wrestling, Muffins Martinez. Muffins, how are you doing today?
Man, amazing. It's the first day of spring and it's snowing. So,
global warming isn't real, right?
Yeah, global warming is real, brother. It's real.
But we are back. After 2 weeks, we are going to take a look at Once Upon a Time in New York. But before we do that, I want to touch on one thing that's come down the news wire. Was yesterday, I believe it was, maybe Sunday. I think it was yesterday, though, because time means nothing to me overall. It has been announced by MLW that Salina de la Renta now is the kind of like the actual executive producer of the featherweight division. Yes. What do you think of this announcement, Muffins?
Well, I mean, this is her second go around at a big promotion in the company. When she was there the first time, you know, she was doing producing, she was doing the translating, she was the liaison with the Mexican United States, and then I guess a lot of stuff happened back in the backstage and a lot of rumors, and then she was gone, and then a couple of years later she's back, and as you can see, slowly but surely she's back at that top. So hopefully now this time she's older. So hopefully whatever happened before with the rumors, it was just that. And now that she's older, more mature, more business-like minded, hopefully she'll take this one and runs with it. But it's amazing. I mean, I want to say, I think I read the same thing, and they said that that's like the first ever like Latina woman, like with that type of title taking over, something like that. So it's going to be amazing and going forward, you know, with the Mexican wrestlers from CMLL and any other free agents out there that want to come in. Hopefully she'll be able to go out there and be the liaison with those individuals and bring them in. And hopefully that May 5th show there in Cicero is going to be like one of the big stars there for her. So I'm happy for her, man. I'm looking forward to it. So see what happens.
Yeah, I think at least on paper, this is a good move because if nothing else, she's got the backing of Court and the creative team with her, so she's got the oversight. But like anytime a big company can make a high profile hiring of a minority is good PR specs.
Yes.
Like they're up right there. And to go along with the production side of it, Salina, did she finish? I mean, somebody can correct me on this, but I believe Salina did finish her schooling over at Full Sail.
Yes,
for production.
She did that. Yes.
So she's obviously going.
Certificate and everything, award, whatever, diploma.
Yeah, the diploma.
And the family had a party for her and everything down there. So yeah, she's all done with that, and she's even taking the first, step further with the production things of, hopefully shows that are going to come in during the summer that she's been producing and even starting in. So, that right there is something that she's doing outside now. She brings that into MLW, and also it makes more sense when you actually have a female doing something with the female division instead of a guy. I always don't like that part, that the guys are the one who's controlling the female division. I always feel it should be a female that knows what's going on, that can understand the female point of view and go from there. So
yeah, especially in the carny world of professional wrestling that has very little HR oversight. I think having, if nothing else, a female supervisor for the division is a good way to keep certain things, we'll say unsavory things, from potentially happening, or at least a safe space for talent to go to,
yes,
with their complaints. My only concern, and this just might be like storyline TV leaking into my brain, but Salina has this nasty tendency to bury the division below her in terms of like her promo stuff. So I'm there's a part of me that is worried, and this could be, again, this could just be like, it's still real to me, damn it, moments where I see the character and I'm having problems separating the two. But like, I know Salina's TV style when she's on screen is, unfortunately, she has this nasty tendency to bury the division, and that part worries me if that kind of like bleeds. If it's one of those, like, it's a shoot bro, or if that's just or if it reflects, or if it goes the other way where like TV reflects reality. But again, that's a time will tell.
Yeah, and then like half an hour ago, Cesar or MLW put out a tweet where Cesar is inviting her to come down to the ring down at the May show to make her offer that she can't refuse. So this should be interesting.
Is it the May show or was it for War
Oh,
Chamber?
I'm sorry, for the March show. For the March show, having to do for the May show there in Chicago. So this should be interesting of what type of announcement Cesar is going to offer her. But I'm pretty sure it probably has something to do with, whoever wins this battle there in May takes over, the Latino section of MLW type deal thing. So, we got the War Chamber coming in 2 weeks, and then we got that battle coming up in May. So,
well, and let's kind of like jump into it. That's a good segue into the first segment of Once Upon a Time in New York. Is that Cesar Duran had his we'll call it State of Azteca address, which was really more of him laying down a gauntlet for Salina at Azteca Lucha May 5th, and basically he's kind of like laid down. He was vague about it, but laid down a batch of challenges for her to accept on May 5th before he was so rudely interrupted by Zeta and her BFF forever, Brett Ryan Gosselin.
Yes.
So, I mean, obviously they're building towards something big with this, and I assume it'll be at the Azteca Lucha show, since it's, well, let's face it, branded as Azteca Lucha, not just a regular fusion or whatever generic wrestling promotion name you want to give this event.
Yeah, and also didn't Selena come out?
No, she was just on the big screen. So I mean, she came out, but she was there via satellite, which I thought was weird because she had a physical presence later on in the show. So
yeah,
I thought it was weird that they had her on screen for that. But I mean, whatever.
The show started off with a bang because, like I said, this kind of put the tone for the rest of the show, with Salina and Cesar going back and forth, and Zeta kind of got stuck in the middle of this, like, hey, don't forget me. I still got to get my title shot.
The true number one contender for the featherweight championship.
Yeah, so
doesn't know why she has to earn this honor.
So exactly, that's what I was thinking. Didn't she already was the number one contender?
No, not officially, just in her head.
All right. I thought for some reason, I said, hold on, I could have sworn she was already like the number one contender. But she was
supposed to have Saint Laurent advocate to Salina for a shot, and then but for whatever reason, Saint Laurent didn't want to have any dealings with Salina. So it never truly came to pass, and so this was her official opportunity, despite making demands for the last couple of months.
Yeah, so this was the opener of the show, and I mean this thing was like almost like 10-15 minutes long. Opening thing of just them going back and forth and whatever, trying to set the tone for the rest of the show, and I was fine with it because like, oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be a good show.
See, and then at the time I was okay with it. But as you kind of put it, they foreshadowed that this was going to be a very heavy Cesar Salina show, and for me, it kind of wore me out, because spoiler here, almost every segment and every match had played into this chess match between Salina and Cesar, and I get it. This is an all-encompassing feud for the company, but this, I didn't think it needed to be every segment of the show, and it kind of harkened back for me thinking about it. Since I'm dropping old school stuff, I got to put that. It kind of reminded me of the Attitude Era, specifically Monday Night Raw and the Warzone, with the Vince McMahon Steve Austin feud, where every segment was dedicated in some way, shape, or form almost to Vince McMahon and Steve Austin, and these things didn't and at times didn't further the storyline. It was just Steve Austin stomping around backstage, getting ready for whatever revenge he's going to have for the night, or Vince McMahon and his stooges, and they're just talking smack, or I can't believe Austin had the audacity to do this, but didn't affect anything. And I felt that's kind of where we came into the show, was that every segment, like we would have some representation of the two, and it just wore me out. And like if we go down like the match card, like almost every match like had something to do with it. So like our this led into our 6-person scramble,
Yes.
like which didn't, officially speaking, didn't have anything to do with the feud, but then we had the bad dude Tito match. We had Zeta versus Delmy. We had the lucha match, like etc. Plus all the stuff that was just strictly backstage too.
Yes.
Of them bickering. So like that part wore me out. Like that, like there was so much time you could have dedicated to any of the other rising stars of the company, or to put over, other appearances for War Chamber, etc. And so like
we should just focus on the actual matches that they had nothing to do with, since we already know it was heavy between both of them. So
well, and I mean we could talk about chunks of it, because like I don't want to like push the other matches away, or that they're involved in, because like
give too much. You don't have to give too much time to them. Yeah. But like you said, the 6-way scramble match wasn't. Once again, those were two different guys from the tag team, right?
Yeah, two spots in the match was taken up by Wasted Youth, which I thought was an interesting choice for a scramble.
Now, were those two guys two different guys, right? Or were they the same?
It was McKay and Mathers. It was the original pairing for MLW. Okay. The guys that are the #1 contenders for the tag team titles.
Yeah, supposedly.
Who won the match for it, and we're conveniently forgetting about it again.
Yeah, and then the last show, it was a different guy teaming with one of the original guys.
Yeah, and then they were stuck in another trios match, which has been their thing.
And now this was a 6-way scramble, and you have the tag team there, which I'm thinking is like
there's a lot of things I have issue with like. Don't get me wrong, the match itself was fine. It was fun, but
love the match.
Yeah, it was fun, and it's everything you'd want in a scramble.
Yes.
That being said, like I question the use of putting Wasted Youth in there, putting both members of Wasted Youth in there. Like I also so there's one we rehashed Love Doug and Brett Ryan Gosling in some way, shape, or form. Like that, either just leave one of them out, or do we still have a feud between those two? I don't know. Is this a Tito Santana, Rick Martel thing where they're just always going to intertwine and go after each other whenever they're on site? And then the inclusion of Ichiban, maybe feels like, because they were doing something with him, and now he's just in this match where it seemed like they're just throwing in the extra flippy people, outside of Cannonball, who just rolls. I
really thought, honestly, I thought Ichiban was going to win this match, just because of what you said, and everybody who was involved in this match. I'm thinking Ichiban is going to win, but the pretty boy.
Yeah, and I have no problem with BRG either, because let's face it, WTF doesn't get enough wins.
Yes.
And in a certain level, at a scramble, you can win a scramble without necessarily you can lose a scramble without necessarily losing anything, because if you're not part of the fall, there can be some other concerns, but really, he wouldn't necessarily lose anything.
What I didn't understand is there's 5 guys, like you said, fast, agile, doing everything, and you got Cannonball, the misfit of the whole match, who before he comes out gets jumped
by the response. Yes,
by the response. And I'm thinking just wow, this show is just people just getting jumped, and their different sides are just feuding against everybody. It was just
it's stable right now. It's the gang wars all over again. If we're going to reference the Attitude Era, it's the gang wars all over again.
So basically, they're building the war chamber between the calling and the response, and right there is the Cannonball thing, and they're all getting jumped, they're all jumping, they're all fighting there. So you're having the 6-way scramble match, and at the same time, you have the camera in the back because they're fighting outside.
Yeah, but they'll fight throughout the night. And then there's another thing, especially since you phrase Cannonball the way you have, as 5 skinny flippy guys, and then you have Cannonball. Like, why was Cannonball in the match? Like, no offense intended to Cannonball, but why was he in the match? Make it a 6-way middleweight scramble, and then promote it as maybe not a number 1 contendership, since we've already kind of determined the next challenge for Mystico. But however, like, plug it as a way to put over the middleweight division, and like, oh, this match could have like serious implications in the middleweight division, blah blah blah. But instead we have Cannonball in there, who kind of messes up.
What's the title that the guy from the Calling has?
Oh, Ricky Shane Page's National Openweight Championship.
Oh, they could have done that, like number 1 contender for that title. I mean, that title has been put to the side because it doesn't even get defended anymore.
Yeah,
I don't even think it's mentioned on the show anymore.
Yeah, barely. Like, only if Ricky Shane Page actually wrestles do they reference it.
And it's been a while since that dude's wrestled for that belt. Oh, the last show that they had with
Chris, yeah. So it hasn't been that long. It just feels like it, because he's had it for a bit as well. But yeah,
for him to drop that damn belt.
Yeah, like or defend it a bit more, be a little bit more of a fighting champion, or go the other way about it. Don't defend the belt, but reference the belt, and then be the guy that like actively dodges the competition instead of just like letting everything be an afterthought.
Hopefully, after the War Chamber, this feud is over between the Calling and the Response, because I'm so tired of this already, man. Really.
Yeah. So. Moving on from there, we have Bad Dude Tito taking on let's see, which 66. There we go. I think all the Aztecas are like 60s. Yeah.
And don't forget, Dude Tito is now signed with
Promotion Esperada. Yeah. Like, this is a match like I see, and this is where I felt like they shoehorned this sort of connection in there too. Like, I didn't feel like if they were just going to have a squash, he could have squashed anybody.
Yeah.
Like, especially since it's YouTube, it doesn't, bring in a jobber. It's fine. Instead, we had to shoehorn Cesar Duran. And of course, we know anymore, if you see the goon mask and a bell's going to ring, you know the goon's going to get squashed. It's just a matter of how much time it's going to be.
Yeah. Like, especially against dude, big guy, big dude Tito, man. Dude's a monster, bro. I mean, dude, like right there, like you knew it was going to be a squash match, just like you said, the guy with the mask, and it's just such a dude, or the Renta side picking up the win to go 1-0 against Cesar's side on the beginning of the show. So
yeah,
basically now it's 1-0.
Yeah, and I don't think it helped Tito any. Like, I don't think it allowed him. Like, honestly, they should have flip-flopped Tito's matches. Like, they should have had Tito squash somebody and then have him lose to Riddle. Like, so I don't think he gained anything out of it. It was just he's just a pawn in this overarching feud that, like, by the end of the show, I'm tired of seeing.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we got a New Japan wrestler here now. So, hey, Big Bag Dude Tito's here. Hey, and half of the people, or more than half, don't even know who the guy is, unfortunately. And he's been busting his butt for 10 plus or more.
Well, and I think that's the problem with that is they've been working out east, and they grabbed a guy. So unless you are familiar with New Japan and all the workings out there, Tito is almost exclusively a West Coast guy, if I'm not mistaken. So they brought in a West Coast / New Japan guy to New York.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, like, only the hardest of the hardcores know who he is.
Yes.
Yeah, and so, like, I mean, I'm a nerd, but I'm not a big New Japan nerd. So, like, for me, like, I barely know what he's done outside New Japan, and even his New Japan to me is just basically playing like third fiddle to TMDK and the TMDK members, Zack Sabre, and then the classic tag team lineup of Haste and Nichols. Like, so he's like a third stringer in my eyes, and just because I'm not familiar with his work, and so
and I know him from the West Coast because he's one half of the Wolf Saddies, and now he's tag team champion there with his partner there at the United Wrestling Network down there and down in Cali now. So. And now he's number 1 contender for the title to go after the homie there. Oh God, from the 5150 tag team that they were there last year.
Rivera or Danny Limelight or
Danny Limelight.
Slice?
No, Limelight.
Limelight, okay.
Yeah, so now he's the number one contender to go after that Limelight title there. So I keep up with him outside of there. That's how I know him from the West Coast. And then he went to the Japan, got bigger up there. And now he's, like you say, he's on the East Coast. And if you don't watch New Japan or the West Coast, you don't know anything about Big that dude Tito.
No.
So, and you're like, oh, it's the big guy. Oh, it's a Latino big guy.
They should have done the squash first, so that way we could see him being monstrous.
Exactly.
And instead of just throwing him in there with Riddle and his faux New Japan feud that he was putting over.
Yeah.
But what are we gonna do? Speaking of like other faux squash matches, we have the in-ring debut of AJ Francis, Flop Dalla himself, taking on Mr. Thomas, who was sucker punched earlier in the week backstage by Francis.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I was surprised by this match, to be honest. I didn't know Francis was actually that strong, because he had Thomas a couple of times there looking like a rag doll.
No, he's a big dude. Like he's a legit big dude. And not that Thomas isn't that big either. But Thomas is actually deceptively small. Is actually like surprisingly small. It's just he's bigger than everybody else on the indies.
Yeah.
When that sort of thing. Whereas like Francis, is actually like 6'6". Yeah, I think closer to 6'6". So like he's an actual big dude compared to Thomas, who's just a jacked regular sized dude.
Exactly. And he may handle Thomas doing it to the match. They just kind of picked him up a couple of times, like damn. He just picked him up like nothing. And I was surprised, the ending wasn't no surprise. We knew Francis was gonna win.
Yeah. When does Thomas win a singles match?
Yeah, it's like, oh God. Yes, I don't even think ever. And
I think it's just against Jay Bougie.
Yeah, yes, I think it was. Yeah. When Jay Bougie got included into the group, but it does nothing again for the Bomaye club, which right now is just like down to his last leg. I mean, all the members that were there are no longer there, if we even seen them. And now Thomas just took the loss.
Which I also think which becomes secondarily, sorry to interrupt, but becomes secondarily interesting because again, since there's like no Bomayes left, and then he's talking about people may not be loyal, but then he just beat like the one guy, like basically the one guy who wouldn't have been loyal and would have meant anything. And if that's the payoff, is that Thomas breaks off and does something with Francis, like I hate those storylines where where the big reveal is someone who's been getting their butt kicked by the heel stable, like looking at like aces and eights, like they're beating down Bully Ray every week, and then he's actually the head of it.
Who knew? Who expected that turn? Okay. Yeah. So
swerve.
But we knew that Francis was going to win this match, so now we'll get that 1-on-1 against Kane at the War Chamber match. Is coming, right? The 1-on-1 match. Okay.
Yeah, they have booked it. They have booked and announced it already, which kind of surprised me. I kind of figured there would be a bit more shenanigans first, which I guess there could be. They could have done. They could do something, and the match doesn't happen at War Chamber or something like. But I was kind of surprised that they've announced it already. I figured there'd be a little bit more shenanigans first.
They'll have like the little videos, like 3 videos this week where they'll build into that. Something will happen backstage somewhere. They tape, then they drop it on Twitter. Oh, okay, this is the reason why the match got made.
Yeah, which I mean, the match makes sense, but I was just kind of surprised it happened so fast.
Yeah,
but like at least that match makes sense. So I'm not going to complain about that.
Who was next?
Number 1 contendership for the featherweight championship. Zeta, the Federettes, taking on friend of the show, Delmi Exo. And at this point, it is officially official that Delmi is a member of Azteca Lucha. They've been teasing it since before Cesar returned.
Yep.
With the cell phone, with the key, with another magical envelope, etc. it is legit. He has come out with Delmi XO.
And I'm disappointed by that revelation. I was hoping that it would be a actual legit CMLL female talent coming over. I mean, we've seen guys coming over. Why can't the females come over? They don't have visas? What? I mean, the females don't have visas to come over, but the guys do. Like, I'm definitely confused by this move, but we saw it coming. I'm just disappointed that it wasn't an actual CMLL wrestler, because I would have loved to see Stephanie Baker, who is the CMLL Women's Champion and who just recently defeated Giulia for the New Japan Strong Women's title. So that would have been awesome, and she would have came out with both of those titles, and now she's here because she wants to get the MLW featherweight title. Man, that would have
That'd be great.
Triple tier title, man. That would have been awesome, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and my only complaint about this match was the fact that Delmi needed assistance to beat Zeta. Like, I thought that was like a weird little thing of there wasn't a whole lot of distraction cheating from the Zeta camp. Like, so why did Azteca 34 need to hop on the ring apron to distract a heel? Like, it didn't that part kind of confused me, because Zeta hasn't, Zeta's win-loss record isn't super duper stellar. Zeta could have eaten a loss, and just a regular clean loss, and it wouldn't have affected anything, just because that's kind of the nature of her character anyway. She's the loudmouth blowhard who's going to.
But I would have loved for Zeta to win, because she's been winning her matches. She's been there. She's been building her her stock. She wins this match. She finally gets that title match that she deserves, because she definitely deserves the title. Now we get Delmi now in the Azteca war, with Cesar's side going up against Janai Kai, who was the featherweight champion on the renta side. So now we're still more in deep in this feud here.
Well, as I said, at least in this case, we knew it was coming. It was just a matter of when the reveal was ultimately going to be.
Yes.
But yes, I would like to see, instead of just bringing in TJPW wrestlers, Joshi's in. I would like to see some luchadoras brought in, especially if we're going to tease this. If we're going to make every segment and the luchador battle between Salina and Cesar.
Well, I mean, they've already brought 10 different guys already, and we still haven't seen that one female, wrestle in AEW or here. And they keep bringing every damn guy in the roster every week. I'm thinking, okay, what happened to the females? They do got female divisions. What the females don't have, they're more lousy to bring over. Is more hefty pay. They don't have the paperwork ready. What?
I mean, we can make jokes that they might have had visas, but they might have been revoked after the whole last with the 20 other guys who had their visas pulled as well.
Yes. I never saw no females name in there anyway. So
yeah,
I don't think maybe one.
I don't know how often talent is traded, closer down south, but let's be fair about this, is that stereotypically a lot of the luchadoras don't fly near as well as the guys who get all the press in the world of lucha. There was really no female equivalent of Vikingo Jr., which there's really no equivalent period to Vikingo, because he is legit the best. But there's no female Mystico. There's no female Star Junior. There's no female that's really known for their high flying, and that is the highlight for most of us Americans of lucha libre, is the aerial ballet, the aerial chess.
But
and the luchadoras aren't really
because
that.
of all the aerial ballet. What happened to him now? Blew out his knee.
Yeah. Well, I guess they've been telling him for years to slow down. And
everybody's saying dude, you gotta take it easy.
But that's the thing though, is but there's no there's no luchadora who is known this is the best high flyer in the world, or this is one of the best. It's just here's the luchadoras.
Yes.
And then you throw in the part where overall, women's wrestling in America is still not horribly respected, just in general, especially by the larger companies who are WWE is going to use their own crop. They're obviously not going to be bringing in people. And then AEW, for as much as they're trying to be better about their division, it's still like, you know, they have a lot to do with their women's division. Ring of Honor's women are killing it, except you have to, it's all killed behind a paywall.
Yeah.
And
$10
so like
a week, nah.
Yeah, so
Or
like
a month?
there's not a lot of like large scale mainstream-esque venues for women's wrestling. So you throw in the fact that they don't have any proper name value up here, or something that's extra super flashy, with the fact that women's wrestling at the mainstream is just still not respected in America as much progress as we've made for it. Like that's my assumption, but then that could be a whole other podcast. That could be a whole extra thingy. This is just one white boy's from the Midwest's perspective about professional wrestling. I would say neckbeard, but I did trim the hair off of it the other day, so it's not quite so
what was the next match? Hopefully, it wasn't anything having to do with the Duran de la Renta.
It's like the only match that we didn't throw in anything, but that is our fast food breakfast sandwich taking on Davey Boy Smith Jr. So Matt Riddle and Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Yes. I love this match. They went at it. They did what they were supposed to do. I also read today earlier that supposedly MLW had put in a new system for best match bonus a couple of months ago, supposedly. And
I'd heard that, and I didn't know if that was a shoot or not.
Yeah, and supposedly this match won the best match bonus for this show. So, so if that's true, they got their money's worth, because I love the match. I love Davey Boy Smith Jr. I'm glad he's back healthy from that emergency surgery that he had before he was supposed to get his title shot. And nobody knew when he was going to come back, if at all healthy. But he's back looking healthy. He had his whole Canadian gear on, so it wasn't those long jeans anymore.
He wasn't rocking the Bulldog 2000 look.
Yes. Yeah, because every time I see him with the jeans, it reminds me of his dad. Every time when I see him with
the worst period of his dad's life too, that.
And but he had the Canadian thing. I said, man, now this dude right here, if this dude doesn't get inducted into some kind of Hall of Fame when he retires, it'll be a shame, because he's been carrying that Canadian flag since his father died, and since Pillman passed away and Owen Hart passed away and Bret Hart had retired. There's like that, and Storm had retired. There's not that many Canadian good guys wrestlers left, except for Jericho, of course, Christian, Edge, but those guys are still, in their late 40s, pushing 50s, is still trying to think that they could still go and give you 5-star matches, so.
Yeah. I'm just gonna throw it out there that it made me sad to kind of appreciate this match, because I really don't want anything to do with our breakfast sandwich friend. That being said, I am actually
obvious reasons. Yes.
Yeah. But I'm I'm very surprised in the booking of the match. Kind of pulling back layers to the onion. I was actually surprised. I figured our stoner friend was going to win. That was going to be a given. However, I actually expected something to be I figured it'd be a bit cleaner. I figured it was going to be a decisive victory for him.
And now
and it got it via roll up. And again, I don't have a problem with that, especially because WTF has been goofs overall. So having him lose via flash, unexpected moment, keeps a bit of the aura of Davey Boy Smith. And then the fact that Davey Boy is one half of the tag team champions.
Yes.
I'm always side eye when champions are forced to lose. And granted, you could try to make arguments about tag team wrestlers, but Davey Boy, for the most part, after since the Hart Foundation 8.0 or whatever number they were on broke up. Like he'd been primarily a singles guy outside of like a brief tenure with the Billington Bulldogs. So like dude has proved his worth in singles competition. So I was really happy just to see that they didn't necessarily bury him by taking that loss, and they let him go by flesh roll up. Yeah. And Bishop's back too. Like they got like WTF was in full force for that for the night too. Like for the first time in a couple months.
Back. So yeah, I was like, oh shit, Bishop is back. Cool. All right. Awesome.
So yeah, it was good. Was it match of the night? Like I wasn't my match of the night as good as it was. It was technically number 2 though. I think the lucha match was better, but that's an opinion thing. Like and they were close. They were neck and neck. So like I'm not going to disparage that being the backstage match of the night.
Yeah, and that was the next match, right? The lucha match.
Yeah, but before we get there, Court Bauer was supposed to have a big announcement, and the big announcement was that he got his ass kicked. Contra, or at least the Sendai Death Squad, come out and laid waste to the owner of MLW, to security, and to a batch of wrestlers too. There was a handful. They actually had the wrestlers go out and try to save Court, which makes sense. The guy's signing his paychecks. You should probably make sure he's still alive, or because who knows what the chain of command is going after that. But they took out a batch of the undercard wrestlers as well. My only dislike about it, like I had no problems with it, is just that it was still just a bunch of like randos. There's just a bunch of randos. Whereas Cruel was announcing like, I have new blood. Well, I can't tell because you still have those goofy skull heads on.
And you still can't understand what the hell he's saying. I swear, like I cannot. Either the audio's too low, or that I don't know. I just cannot understand nothing that he says. I wish they would put subtitles when he's talking, just so we can do. Like I didn't hear or heard or understood what he said. So I have no idea what happened. But I know that Court Bauer got his ass kicked. I know that much.
And like twice too, because they later on we'll find out that they attacked him as he was getting into the ambulance as well. They should have dumped him over and Rey Mysterio him, Brock Lesnar, Rey Mysterio, just have him tee off while he's still on the back.
They should have done the Vince McMahon. How many times he's got laid over from the actual gurney? Have him tie up and then just flip him over. He won't get hurt because he's tied up to the things, but at least you'll think he got hurt. But
no, you land wrong. It's not going to feel good, and I'm never not going to laugh at those spots.
It's going to hurt, but
no matter who's strapped to the gurney, no matter I'm going to laugh when I get stumped because that is the greatest thing ever. Especially
it's going to hurt.
It's like the only time Braun Strowman's entertaining, so he's screaming, "I'm not finished with you." And dumps the stretcher, and it's great, and I love it. But yeah, so I don't know if the big announcement was going to be legit. But Contra finally officially made a statement at Once Upon a Time. And Cruel Kruger, I don't know if they're going to phase into the Cruel name because they've been calling him Mads Cruel Kruger, has announced that, well, he's got new blood in Contra, but I can't tell who it is. So hopefully it's his friends from the Indies. But they also just off the wire announced that he's got something cooking for War Chamber as well.
Yes. And he's been a participant of War Chambers before, so
he's one of the before they influx some of the deathmatch guys, he was probably one of the more hardcore guys they had in the company for quite some time, with a couple of those weapons of mass destruction matches under his belt, War Chamber, Bakle Brawls, etc.
And when they came back from pandemic, the first time was the contract unit, and that's when they broke Jacob Fatu away from them, and then after the match they lost, they went after each other for the whole after the show. So and I was there for that one. That's why I remember that, because I was there going, no, don't fight each other. No, damn it, no.
Yeah, that happened really quick too. They went from everybody being on the same page to just absolutely falling apart within 2 shows, it seemed like.
Yeah, and it's one of those, and then to make it worse, it was one of those the Death Squad members who got pinned.
Oh yeah.
Not
Like
even one of the main guys. It was like one that couldn't find one of the main guys.
Sendai number 66
number
instead of
66.
MLW and their love of masked goon jobbers.
Yeah, and their numbers.
Yeah. Well, if you got so many of them, you got to number them, even though you
Well,
can't tell
shit.
the number
When you
guys
get
apart
into the
either.
60s, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get to the high numbers.
They should have just made a joke of it and just made it 69 so we could all just scream nice at him.
Should have put a 68 plus 1 on the mask.
We need to have jerseys. That's what we need. We need to have like athletic jerseys so we come out like, oh, it's Azteca 66. He's got his basketball jersey, the big 66 on it, and he's ready to go.
And just hockey jerseys,
get his head taken off in 30 seconds. It'll be a party.
No.
So we'll see what Contra's got up their sleeve, and by their sleeve I mean the sleeveless bodysuit of Mads Kruger come War Chamber. So after they calm down this carnage, we had our lucha exhibition match of the night, continuing the Promociones Dorada Azteca Lucha War as Magnus took on Star Jr. And to be real, like I thought this was my match of the night. Like I was thoroughly entertained. Like I was aware of the existence of Star Jr. and like I've seen a little bit of his work, but I was not familiar with Magnus. And like both guys just like blew me away with some of the stuff that they were doing, or just new spins on some of the stuff that had been done too. Like a springboard double stomp like blew me away, even though like I've totally seen, I watched AJ Styles pull out springboard 450s, but just because like nobody's doing a springboard double stomp,
Well, I was happy Star Jr. is actually Star Jr. and not El Hijo del Star, like they always do, the son of Star, because they're the star with the father, and now the junior's there. So I'm happy that he went with Star Jr. and not El Hijo del Star. So that was amazing. But another amazing match, dude. They went at it, and I had just seen Star Jr. a couple of days before, I think on a Friday night at AEW when he lost to Jericho. Well, after he fought his father back in the days there, like 20 years ago, down in Mexico there. So TK got to get them first when they get announced. Oh, you come on our shit. Come to our show first, and you can go to the other one. So Star, amazing match. And Star Jr. won because he was with Jesus, I forgot his name now.
Cesar?
With Cesar, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he won. So Cesar finally got at least one match in that he got able to win. But if you haven't watched this match, go to YouTube and watch this match, man. This was a lot of aerial prowess out there, man. I really enjoyed this match, and I always enjoy when you have the luchadors out there now that it's strictly now CMLL guys now, and you like rarely see the Triple S guys coming out here no more, or Crash Lucha guys. Now it's mostly CMLL. And like you said, guys that you've probably never heard before, or maybe just seen once or twice a long time ago. So we get to see those guys now.
Right. Yeah, as I said, great match. Like if you don't catch anything else from that show, like that's the match I think you should watch, even if it doesn't have any real storyline. Actually, that probably makes it better, is that it has no real storyline connection to it.
Well,
so
it does.
It does, but a casual person, like I could go downstairs to the wife who only kind of pays attention, and she'll go like, yeah, she doesn't have to understand anything. She's just watching, the game of human chess in action.
I like their masks.
Yeah, she's a bit more educated. Lucha's not her strong suit necessarily, but she pays attention to wrestling because I force her mostly. She shows up to me. She's usually there to make sure Manders stays off me.
Kill you, yes.
Yeah.
Or at least if you get killed, at least she's there to identify the body.
Yeah, there you go.
Is this your husband, the deceased? Yes, that's him. I know.
Here's the video proof.
Yeah.
She probably filmed it.
I know him. Yep, I know him by the glasses. Yep, that's him.
Oh. But that takes us to our main event of the night, 6-man tag.
And has nothing to do with the renta or Cesar. So
yeah, who knew that they were going to let that happen? Cozy Max and Alex Kane taking on 3 members of WTF who hadn't wrestled yet tonight, in terms of Josh Bishop, Filthy Tom Lawler, and Richard Holiday actually getting to hop in the ring for this.
Yes. Now, at least now I know what happened to Josef, because he had a big shoulder sleeve.
Yeah, he was wrapped up.
Okay. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe that's why the reason we haven't seen him in a while is because maybe he was nursing a little mini injury there, and that's why he had that big ass rep. But I mean, I love the main event. I'm kind of disappointed that Holiday kind of got stuck into this nonsense here.
Yeah, there's a batch of little things I can complain about, being a professional neckbeard and whatnot. But otherwise, I thought it was a serviceable match. And I actually, one of the things I appreciated is that they kind of gave plenty of time for Okamura to shine.
Yes.
And they hadn't really done a whole lot of that since his arrival of MLW, because they started the party with him almost being like a valet, like he's going to be here, ladies and gentlemen. And now then it turned into like he's going to be there for his friend Satoshi Kojima, and that turned into a formal tag team as well. So I'm glad to be able to see like some of the stuff he could do. And I did love the beginning, how it just started out hot, and they got and then they got in the corners and did the machine gun chops into a cutter from everybody. So even Alex Kane, who's not known as a chops and cutter kind of guy.
Well, the match did its job,
Oh yeah,
they got the good guys won the match, putting more heat into the World Chamber match. So this show, from the calling in the beginning to MLW versus WTF at the end, those are the 2 big main matches coming up for World Chamber. So, so even though there was so much shit going on with the backstage stuff, the in stage and the ring, all the different, side partners and people behind the closed doors, it was a lot. It was a lot to process. And if you didn't know much what was going on, you were going to get lost, because there was a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, especially they crammed a lot into the main event. Yeah, as well, because they kind of booked in the 2 big feuds kind of at the same time, just kind of randomly. Because we'll call them the MLW squad. Alex Kane and Cozy Max picked up the victory. I thought it was interesting that Kojima didn't get tagged in until the very end. After these schmas at the start, he was not a factor in the match at all until the very end.
Still dealing with that knee issue, right?
Yeah, he is injured. But I questioned why would you bother to put him in the match at all if you're just going to have him stand on the ring apron the entire time? And they should have and I felt and here's where my here's my armchair booking neckbeard comes through, is if you're going to do that where you're just going to have him stand on the ring apron the entire time, turn that into the story as well. They keep WTF cuts off Kojima because they know he's the world champ. He's the one that's going to ultimately do the most damage if he's let in. We could argue that Kane is probably that guy in reality, but still, kayfabe, brother, Kojima is the world champ. You don't want him in this match because he's going to do the damage. So turn that into the story. Almost get the tag to Kojima, and no, he's cut off. Whether through outside interference or just the last second pulling away whomever is getting worked over, make that the story. But instead they just blind tag, lariat, that's it. Yeah. I think they could have spun it in a way that would have been a little bit more satisfying than having him on the ring apron the entire time, which again, he's nursing an injury. He really probably shouldn't have been in that match at all. But at least he didn't have to necessarily take any bumps. He didn't have to, do drop kicks or, do anything really strenuous outside of I think the worst thing he did that potentially to that knee was do the cutter. Yeah. So. And
then they had the beat down afterwards.
Yeah, we had a very long, extended sequence of beat down.
And it made WTF look strong at the end, even though they lost all their matches again.
Yeah, which is the MO of WTF, really, is to lose their match.
Yeah, now they have the tag team titles at least. but at least they ended them looking strong at the end, with them all standing over the fan favorites, the face, or whatever you want to call them. They stood tall at the end. So at least the show ended in a strong viewing of WTF, which I thought, okay, at least they look strong. They finished and look strong.
Yeah, and we got a little bit of everything at the end of it because AJ Francis came out to take out Alex Kane, so they brawled to the back. And then, per tradition, the one called Manders shows up incredibly late to save his friends, and then, still fails at saving his friends, though Justice held his own for like 30 seconds before going down to the numbers too. So the crew of the second gear crew and Cozy Max got to be together, even though they ultimately got beaten down in the prospect of it.
So what happened to Good Brother number 6, 3, 5, whatever, 3?
I get the sneaking suspicion that both Mance Warner and Good Brother number 3 are not with the company anymore.
Again,
which I get, because over on the other side of the Indies, that's not MLW. Old Manser has had a change of heart, and there really isn't much of a second gear crew anymore. Because old Manser decided it's been too long since he held some gold, brother. And him and one of his former BFFs, Effie, have been in a blood feud, and poor one called Manders. Wrestle dads are getting a divorce, and now he's part of the custody battle. Spoiler alert, he's on Effie's side because old Manser done spiked him too. And it's great. Love it.
Why not? Why not? Why not? Just keep going for it. Go ahead, kill everybody. Go ahead.
It's bland, brother. But yeah, we're next. WTF stands tall. We are getting ready for War Chamber, and this War Chamber they did announce, just to kind of move on to the next event and talk about it just at least briefly. We have 2 War Chamber matches, and they did announce that one is going to be on the event itself, the pay-per-view itself, and then the second one is going to be for whatever they're going to name the special. So Cozy Max and WTF is going to get the main slot on the pay-per-view at War Chamber itself, and then the calling and response will have the War Chamber match on whatever the YouTube special is.
Well, no, but it's still going to be on the
same. It's not going to be on the main show.
They
announced that it's not going to be on the main show.
See, for some reason I'm thinking that it's going to be on the main show, but then since they won't have any tapings, they're going to put that as the Saturday show on whenever the show is supposed to come out, and then show that match in its entirety there for free for the folks who didn't watch it on the pay-per-view.
See, my assumption, and we'll see. We'll see what they announce also match-wise, because I don't have my thingy pulled up because I'm not that professional. But but a good War Chamber, by itself can take most of an hour, just because you got to alternate back and forth, and all that sort of good stuff. So if you're doing a 2-hour special, there's a War Chamber is half your card right there, and then you just have to have 2, maybe 3 other matches depending on how much backstage stuff that's going on. So so on paper, this is kind of an easy book in terms of timing, because you have 2 giant matches for that tape, that overall taping that can take 2 hours in and of itself. And then you can have an undercard of, 4 to 6 matches.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because it's only 2 hours, not 3.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. So we won't see it. They'll do it after the taping, it, and then they'll show it on the Saturday, whenever. But there's going to be a big break, because it's going to be from March 29th, and then I believe the next taping thing won't be till April 20th. Which is a Saturday, and then you're jumping right to the May 5th stuff already. So, so it's 3 weeks there. Oh shit, okay.
Well, but still, if they're going on the 2-week cycle, so War Chamber is going to be is going to be next week.
Yep.
And then the YouTube show will probably be 2 weeks after that, so it'll be the second week of April-ish. So so Battle Riot will be
May 5th.
That's Azteca. So they'll be I think that there's going to be some weird overlap in things. So
that's what I was thinking. I said, no, that makes no sense because it's going to be because they definitely have nothing going on for WrestleMania weekend. They have like nothing going on, so they're pushing the taping thing for the 20th. I believe that's what I have read or something I have seen when they showed the schedule. But now I can't remember. But we'll figure it out. We'll see what happens.
Fix it in post. It'll be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm curious to see how War Chamber. Like, I'm really curious to see because they keep giving us crumbs of WGF. I'm curious to see how most of those folks acclimate to the War Chamber environment, like Cozy Max, because this is not Okamura and Kojima's wheelhouse. To begin with, though they're bringing back the 2 rings, so that excites me. It's going to be less cramped. But I'm curious to see, if WTF will, rise to the occasion, or if this is just going to be another case of them, looking cool and then, wetting the bed in the process.
Yeah, because I remember when they started doing the War Chamber again, and I did the first 2 times, it was only on 1 ring.
Yeah. And then that's a lot of people to cram into 1 ring.
It's
if you're not going to have, it's one thing to have like an Atomikos and have everybody on the ring apron except for 2 guys, but to like force everyone into the ring. And I think that's one of the reasons why, like, dare I say, some of the War Chambers haven't been that great, is because like everybody comes in and then there's like 1 big spot and then it's over, just because there's 6 or 8 people physically in 1 ring, and there's no room to move.
Almost up to 10 at times.
Yeah, there's no room to move.
10 people and then a bunch of shit because you got chairs, tables, and stuff. And where are we gonna move? There's not that much space in the ring anymore. Look at all this trash we got in here. So somebody's gonna get hurt for real.
Yeah. But that being said, kind of winding things down, I'm looking forward to it just because War Chamber, regardless of some of my critiques, is my second favorite event of the year after Battle Riot, because I done love me a clusterfuck of a battle royal. Those are my favorite. But if I can't have me a battle royal, I'm going to have me some violence. And War Chamber is violence, baby. Violence for the sake of violence. Number 3, cold beers. Whatever other bad Man's Warner impressions I can do.
Just take us home, brother. Take us home.
I'm all hopped up on the caffeine. Quick chug. Actually, it hurts my voice to do that. But yeah, so then we're going to wind it down. We're going to take it on home. So follow us on the social medias. We're flashing on the bottom, Twitter and Instagram, Urban Wrestle, N.W. Myself is at the Nova of Cass. We are all over the bloody place in various forms. Obviously, YouTube, the audio podcasts, again, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook pages. I'm on Blue Sky and TikTok for some odd reason as well. But yeah, so check those out. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff that I'm supposed to say because we're on YouTube. So hit those noties, all good stuff. Tell me what an idiot I am and how awesome muffins are. Like that. It's let us know how we're doing in the comment section. And then I'm going to leave on like one thing that's going to be actually mildly serious. And bear with me, muffins, on this one, but it's for a good cause. As everyone knows, I am a big supporter of SCW Pro in Eastern Iowa, sponsor for most of their events. The podcast is I Am, and a member. It has been announced that a member of the SCW Pro family, known in the circles as Garot, a member of the Chosen, real name, which I just learned this weekend, Austin Acree, has been diagnosed with cancer, has had cancer removed, and he's going to be undergoing chemotherapy treatments for the next handful of weeks. That being said, SCW Pro, May 18th, I think, May 18th, I believe, whatever the third Saturday is in the month. They are having a benefit for him. So if you are in the Eastern Iowa area, all the ticket sales go towards his medical fund. But for the rest of the country, since this is a nationwide podcast, there is a GoFundMe set up for Austin/Garot to help with his medical treatments, and you can find that on my social media or the SCW Pro social media.
May 18th.
May 18th. I could I just know I can't go to that, which makes me sad. Can't go to the benefit I'm helping out with. But yeah, so if you're in the area, go to the show. I'm told they will be having raffles and whatnot just to do what they can to help out, because medical bills are ridiculous in this nation. And if that, and if you got some extra cash money, if nothing else, hit up the GoFundMe. That's all over my socials, whether it's on Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky. So you can find the links there. Because one thing that they hammer, and by they is the collective they in the wrestling industry, that professional wrestling is family. Especially these smaller promotions, and so when a member of the family goes down, we do what we can to help them out. So there's me being serious for once. So that being said, again, to be flippant once again, like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell your friends, tell your neighbors to come watch us. Mark this one on the calendar because I did get serious for once, and Muffins had to tolerate it. In addition to my Bad Man's Warner impression, and hit us up on the socials. So otherwise, I think we've covered it all.
Yes.
That means see you later, folks.
Deuces.